Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Caps on Comics. I'm Kenny Caps, and tonight we're going to be discussing some little known facts about the first appearances of the Avengers. In part 2 of a 3-part series, we'll be discussing the Guardians of the Galaxies. And while technically speaking, the Guardians of the Galaxies are not in the Avengers, they fought alongside the Avengers to beat Thanos. So, there you go. Instead of talking about these characters and how they first appeared chronologically, we're going to be looking at them from the Marvel Cinematic Universe standpoint, starting with Star-Lord and ending with Drax. Got it? Alright, let's get started. Alright, so in this segment, we're only going to be discussing one video, and that is the Guardians of the Galaxy, which came out on August 1st of 2014. And that was a watershed event in the MCU because at that point, everyone realized that everything that was produced by the MCU was gold. Alright, so the first comic book that we're going to be looking at is the first appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And they first appeared in Marvel Superheroes number 18 in January of 1969. The initial roster consisted of Vance Astro, Martinex Tanaga, Captain Charlie 27, and Yandu Udanta. So as the story goes, the Guardians started out as an idea of Roy Thomas's, but his original idea was a group of super guerrillas that fought against Russians and Chinese who had taken over and divided up the United States, right? See, he said he thought he got sort of a general approval from Stan Lee, so he gave the idea to Arnold Drake. Then Arnold had a conference with Lee, and Lee, and maybe Arnold too, decided to change it to an interplanetary situation. Even though sales were strong on that first issue, it would be over 5 years before the Guardians of the Galaxy would appear again, and that would be in Marvel 2-in-1 number 4 in July 1974. Alright, so next we have Star-Lord, who was created by Steve Englehart and Stephen Gunn, and first appeared in Marvel Preview number 4, which is a black and white magazine, and that came out in January of 1976. Alright, his first comic book appearance is in Marvel Spotlight number 6, which came out like 4 years later in May of 1980. According to Steve Englehart, he had originally conceived something very large, where Peter Quill would go from being this unpleasant, introverted jerk to the most cosmic being in the universe. And after his earthbound beginnings, his mind would be opened up step by step, with a fast action story on Mercury, a love story on Venus, like a war story on Mars, and so on out into the edge of the solar system and then beyond. But he left Marvel soon after, and so his vision was never really done, right? But thanks to that, we did get an awesome Green Lantern. Next, we have Gamora. Gamora was created by Jim Starlin and first appeared in Strange Tales number 180 in June of 1975. Okay, so in the MCU, Gamora has plenty of reasons to hate Thanos because 1, he eliminated her family and half of her race. 2, he forced her to become his daughter. And then 3, he heartlessly trained her to become the most fearsome warrior in the galaxy. Alright? But in the comic books, Gamora eventually grew to hate her father instead of just hating him intensely. And it wasn't as instant because he wasn't actually the one who killed all of her people. Thanos found her and took her home after the Badoon had already wiped out most of her species. Another interesting fact about Gamora is that in the comic books, she's received cybernetic enhancements just like Nebula. One time, Gamora got her butt kicked and was left on the brink of death. So then Thanos found her, he restored her health and cybernetically enhanced her to superhuman levels. Thanks, Dad. Alright, so the next character could possibly be everyone's favorite. He's definitely my favorite, and that's Rocket Raccoon. Rocket was created by Bill Malta and Keith Giffen and first appeared in Marvel Preview number 7 in the summer of 1976 under the name of Rocky. Alright, so however, his first appearance in a comic book is The Incredible Hulk 271 in May of 1982. And this is when we learn that Rocky is actually short for Rocket. His name and aspects of his character are a nod to the Beatles' 1968 song Rocky Raccoon. Other references to the song were featured in Rocket's appearance in The Incredible Hulk 271, which was titled, "Now Somewhere in the Black Holes of Sirius Major there lived a young boy named Rocket Raccoon," and saw the Hulk help Rocket stop a villain trying to steal Gideon's Bible, which in the Marvel Universe is a book that contained the sum of all knowledge. It's pretty crazy stuff, right? Next, we have Groot. Groot was created by Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, and Jack Kirby and first appeared in Tales to Astonish 13 in November of 1960, well before the real surge of superheroes, right? So this guy outdates all Marvel superheroes. But what's interesting to me about Groot is Dutch for large. Lastly, Drax the Destroyer. Drax was created by Jim Starlin and first appeared in Iron Man number 55 in February of 1973. Now, Drax's origin story is all about Arthur Douglas, who was a human whose family was attacked and killed by Thanos, who just so also happens to appear in this for the first time. Anyway, needing someone to fight Thanos, this being known as Kronos comes and takes Arthur Douglas's spirit and places it in a powerful new body, and Drax the Destroyer was born. Kinda cool, kinda creepy, right? Well, that wraps up another episode of Caps on Comics. Do you have a favorite Guardian of the Galaxy? And if so, who is it? Please comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Kenny Caps and I'll see you in the next video.